This must mean you're an Infusionsoft user. Good call. Crazy about an Infusionsoft. Boy, is this a killer application. Used to be kind of a pain in the butt, but now they've made it so cool. So here's how to tie all this stuff together with Infusionsoft. So if you recall the earlier video, I walked you through how to integrate lead pages with Infusionsoft by connecting through the little super secret API key thingy, the old cut and paste method. So now we're just going to build like the web form, and we're going to tie in the autoresponder and all that. And this is really easy. So no matter where you are in Infusionsoft, here's what you want to do. You want to go to the main menu, and under marketing, select campaign builder. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a campaign. Now, if you've never used campaign builder before, don't worry about it. Totally fine, not a big deal. We just click that add a campaign button, and now first thing we're going to do is we're going to name it. So this will be list class demo. All right, I'll click on save, and we now have the makings of a campaign here in Campaign Builder. It's the coolest thing ever because it's drag and drop and it's really intuitive. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to define a goal, and a goal is the thing that must occur in order for them to start a campaign. Now, you can deploy campaigns to people who are already on your list or new people. So that's why there's so many options, right? In this case, we're going to use it for new people. So we're going to say, we're going to choose this circle here. It's called Other. And we're going to go over here. We're just going to drag it in the Campaign Builder. And that means whenever this thing, which is now titled Other, occurs, they will be added to a campaign. So let me show you how to sort of make all that happen. The first thing you'll notice is you have this little purple pen thing looking, or that's really a tag. So what we need to do is we need to click on that, and we're going to change the goal setting. So right now, this means that a person will be added to your list and everything will deploy as soon as a tag is applied. Well, they're brand new, so we're not going to have that happen. Instead, we're going to select this, submits a web form. And that means, I'll go ahead and hit save, that means that as soon as someone fills out a web form, they're going to be added to the rest of this campaign, which we have yet to build. So now what we're going to do is we're going to build the web form. Now this is really easy. So to do that, you just double click the middle of this circle here, and 10,000 years will go by because my computer's super slow right now because we're filming. And as you can see, this is what the web form looks like. Now, it integrates with lead pages, so don't worry about the aesthetics of the web form. None of this actually is ever seen in real life, okay? So we're going to leave this alone. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to name it. So right now it's just called Other. And so we're going to go up here and we're just going to click on Rename. And this is important because when we're in lead pages, we're going to say, okay, opt-in page, integrate with this web form, right? So this is a big deal. So we'll call this list class, is that right? Web form. There we go. No need to capitalize everything. Okay, so I want to make sure I remember what this is called. I'll show you why here in just a sec. So now our next step is to, let's see here. Hang on, I got to find my little page. There we go. Our next step is to define the thank you page, and that is where people go after they opt in. So we just click this tab up here that says thank you page. Now we don't want them to redirect to this weird looking page, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to say we want them to go to a web address. So after they opt in, we want to go send them to a web address. Well, where do you think that's going to be? Remember, we made this little guy right here. So this is the thank you page with offer. Remember, we want them, as soon as they opt in, to see our thank you page that has the sales video on there. So I'm just going to copy this URL, and I'm going to paste it right here. Bing. And we are ready to go. That's all the work we have to do with that web form. So we go from draft to ready by clicking this tab here, and we go back to campaign. So now we have a web form, but we got to have something else, right? After they submit the form and they go to see our offer on the thank you page, what needs to happen? Well, if you'll remember from our little process map, they need to simultaneously be added to our campaign and get that very first email. Well, that's really easy with Campaign Builder. So what we're going to do is now we're going to add a follow-up sequence to this. So you click on this little thing that says sequences, and we're just going to drag this sequence right over here. And we're going to drag this little arrow connecting the web form to the sequence. That means as soon as someone fills in this web form, they're now going to be put into the sequence. And now we can just start adding stuff to the sequence. So to add stuff to the sequence, you just double click it. Super easy. We don't mess with this at all. And what do we want to have happen? Well, we want them to immediately get our email number 1, right? So we click over here on communications. We drag the email thingy over here. It automatically connects with an arrow because that's kind of how sequences work. So to edit this email and to actually make it say something, we just double click it. Super easy. And first thing we're going to do is it's called untitled email. So I always like to name it. So I'm just going to call this email 1. And that's good. And then from the contact's owner, I want to make sure there's no room for error here. So I'm going to choose other, and I'm going to put my name as the from name. And then I'll put my actual email address here for the email address. There we go. Okay, and then we don't mess with the 2 here, and the subject line will be something like thanks, and let's merge their first name in there. So, thanks, first name. And I'll get rid of that exclamation point there. Thanks, first name, exclamation point. There we go. And now it's time to make this thing look cool, all right? So you never want to send an email out that looks like this. It just says, I'm a corporate-y person that is sending you an automated message and trying to sell you something. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to change this layout. So we click on Layout and Style. We see this little thingy come up over here. I'll just move it for us. And I'm going to say no pre-header needed, no header needed, no footer needed. The email width is okay, but I want it to be aligned over there to the left. Perfect, all right? Almost. But now look, we don't want this weird gray background and stuff. So now we go over here to style and we say, man, I think I just want the simple style, like the really simple one right here. So I'll click on that. So now we have the makings of a non-fancy email. But what about all this weird thing? We don't want this. We just click the little trash can here. We're going to click the trash can here. And we're now going to start editing, this. But you know what I'm going to do? Because I don't like this weird headline and all that, I'm just going to get rid of this whole thing, and I'm going to add a new blank part. So you'll notice now, like, we can't edit this because this is going to be kind of strange. So what we do is we go to snippets. I'm just going to drag a paragraph snippet right down here. And this is what we're going to actually use to fill in the body copy of the email with. So I just highlighted that text. I'm just going to start typing. Hey, and I think I'll put their first name back in here. Hey, first name. I just click that merge field for first name, comma, enter, right? Thanks for requesting this free report. You can download it here. Now, that's very, very basic, right? Talk soon. Rick James, because I've legally changed my name to Rick James now. Not really. Okay, so how do we make this link downloadable here? Well, we have 2 choices, right? So the first thing we can do is we can simply, by the way, before I even show you this, which of these links are we going to use? Now remember, they opted in, they've seen the thank you page with the sales video on there. Now we're giving them what we promised them, which is the download page, right? Where they download their PDF, so we're going to send them here. So our first thing we can do is I'm just going to copy this, is I can just put a link under here and just paste that link in. Right? Now you'll notice this isn't blue. So what I need to do is I need to highlight this again, and I need to make it a real link. So in order to do that, I go back over here to Format, and I just click on Link here. With this text highlighted, I click on Link, and I just paste that web address in there. Bing, and I click on Insert. So now it's live. I could also, if I want to, make the words download it here a hyperlink. I do that, the same thing, highlight it, click the link button, and boom. We're ready to rumble. Click on Insert, Update, and there we go. So voila, that's email number 1, right? So now I just go change it from draft to ready. I click on back to sequence. Now this whole sequence here, I'm going to name this thing because it's called untitled sequence. I'm just going to name it. You don't have to name it, by the way. You could leave it untitled, but I like to have it normal, you know. I'll just call it follow up. So I click on save. Now it's in draft mode, so I click it to ready. I go back to campaign and I just click on publish and say okay. And now we're ready to rumble. That means now I can tell lead pages to integrate with Infusionsoft, and when someone fills in their name and email in lead pages, it applies them to this form and they go to this follow-up sequence. And I can do this for as many forms and as many follow-up sequences as I want, as many different opt-in pages on lead pages as I want. See how easy that was? So that's how you set up the inner workings of your campaign in Infusionsoft. So in our next video, I'm going to show you how to actually build the opt-in page, and then you know what? We are done. So we'll be good to go. Okay, so I will stop this video here, and I'll see you in the next one.